Hello guys, welcome back. Now in this video we will learn about securing data lake. We will learn about this concept in this video. So for this, now let's have a question. What service in AWS we are using as data lake to store our data? I hope you answered this question. The answer for this question is we use S3. We use S3 for data lake service. So let's say my company is using this S3 bucket as a data lake and storing my company related client users data in this data lake. Now after few days, I have an issue raised. I have an issue raised in my company due to my operation team. In my operation team, I have multiple users. Let's say I have three types of users. In my operation team, I have operation team users are there, and operation team managers are there, and operation team directors are also there. Actually now my operation team users, managers as well as directors are allowed to see the data present in this data lake. That is, all my client users data present in this data lake can be able to see. These all operations team can able to see that data. But the issue is the issue is the operations team users are misusing those client users data. That client users data are misusing by this operations team users, whereas these managers and directors won't do such mismanipulations, but these users are doing that mismanipulation for their need. Now what is our need is, the issue is operations team users are misusing those clients users data values. Like that client users data contain values like employee id, checking account, routing number, social security. So like that private information, these operations team users are misusing. They are watching it. So what I want to do is to avoid this misusage of my client user data. To avoid this misusage of my client users data present in my S3 bucket, that is a present in my data lake, we have to do something. That is, we have to grant only the required column permissions to operation team. That is, for users I want to grant the permissions for just seeing the data that is not personal to the user. My client users data, I want to protect it, right? Yes. So to protect it from my team, I need to avoid users to watch all the columns and grant permissions to only certain columns. So like that I can able to secure my data lake, right? Yes. So in AWS, can I able to do that? Yes, we can able to do that by implementing data lake. For securing we need to implement a data lake in S3. So in this way you can able to secure your data. So now that we're gonna do in practical lab, how we actually secure our data by using, how actually we secure our data lake, that is S3, by using a service, that is lake formation. By using lake formation we can able to actually secure our data present in our data lake. By using this lake formation we can able to grant specific permissions for IAM users. So obviously these all users must be IAM users, right? Yes. So for those IAM users, in order to access the data by using Athena queries, So how you access your data present in your S3 bucket? By using Athena queries only, right? Yes. So by using Athena queries only, you will access the data present in your S3 bucket. So in order to grant access to only particular columns or nothing but restricting other columns access, we can use this lake formation. So for that, granting will be taken by using this lake formation service. I'll show you in this lab. So for querying the data present in data lake, that is S3, what we use? Amazon Athena. Okay. So for granting the access to particular columns, we use lake formation. Now let's say I have a file. I have a file which I put in this S3 bucket. Now that file contains 5 rows. Let's take an example of that file contains 5 rows. So it contains 5 columns, right? That is it contains 5 columns also. 5 rows, 5 columns that file contains. Now how this how this lake formation can understood? It only contains 5 columns. So it need to refer the schema of that file, right? Yes. So in which AWS service we can able to refer the schema of any data present in S3. So for that the answer is glue. What is that? AWS glue. You are using AWS glue crawler. You need to use glue crawler in order to infer the schema. To infer the schema of data. That is what columns are there, how many columns are there, and what are the columns, and what type of data those columns are holding. That data you can able to find by using glue crawler. So by using glue crawler, you can able to create a glue data catalog, and then by using glue crawler, you can actually able to create glue data catalog. What you can able to create? Glue data catalog, where this glue data catalog can contain table, where the table can contain the details of infer schema, that is a schema of the data present in your S3 bucket. So by using that table, glue data catalog table, you can able to grant permissions, grant access to particular IAM users by using this lake formation. So in this video, we're gonna implement this whole thing end to end. But this the data that I have already created S3 bucket and some data inside it. I have already uploaded some data inside this S3 bucket. Now I want to grant access. I also have some users, that is I have operations users and managers as well as directors. Don't worry, I'll show you that as well. Now I want to create a lake formation, and then I want to provide the permissions to particular users, and then I want to log in as that user and check whether that user can able to access that much amount of data or not. So that's what we're gonna do in this lab. You can see I have already logged into my AWS management console, and I have already created some buckets for this lab. You can see operations data lake. So this is the bucket that I have created. In this I have 2 folders. In this I have customers details present in this customers data.csv file, and employees data present in this employees data.csv file. Now I want to protect this data. I want to protect this particular bucket present in my S3. So in order to protect by using data lake service, first what I want to do, I want to create this glue crawler, right? Yes. So now let's do that at first. So I'm searching for glue right now. I'm opening the glue service. in this glue service, I have an option that is a crawler. Now I'm just creating a crawler to infer the schema. To infer the schema, I'm creating the crawler, that is to know the column details. Columns details, I'm creating a crawler. So first we need to provide the crawler name. Crawler 1, I want to provide the name, and I'm clicking on next. Then we need to choose a data source and classifier. So now what is our data source? So if we move back, then this is our data source, right? So what is our data source? That is S3. So that's why I'm selecting S3. And we also need to select which location, which bucket object that you want to crawl. So that also you need to select. So currently I'm selecting this operations bucket. Now I'm choosing this bucket. Yeah, I have chosen that particular bucket. Next, I want to crawl all subfolders. So that's why I selected this option. And I want to add the source. You can see in second step, in first step, we provided crawler properties, that is a crawler details name. In second step, we added the data source. So currently I do not want to classify this. So that's why I'm clicking on next. Here I'm providing a role for it. So for this, I've already created a role in order to perform this action. Now I'm just clicking on next. Now in this third section, what we want to provide is output and schedule. So currently I do not have any databases. So for this, in Glue till now, I haven't created any databases. I'm just opening this database tab in a new window. I'm opening this database. I'm not changing these configurations. So I just opened a new tab. Here you can see you have an option that is add database. So click on it. There you need to provide some database name. So I want to provide the database, since I'm creating this for securing a data lake. So that's why I'm providing the name as securing data lake. So like this, I provided my database name. So like this, I provided my database name. Now I'm just clicking on create database. You can see it was just created now. Now I'm just moving back to crawler creation configuration. Now here I want to use that database. I'm just reloaded. After that, you can see whatever the database that we created, that is available here. Now I'm selecting that particular database. Now in this database, actually the table is created. In that table, my infer schema will be present. So now you can see currently I do not have any tables. After creating this crawler and running this crawler, it will create this crawler will infer the schema from the S3 source bucket that I have selected from S3 source bucket. Then after, it will put the data into this target database. Now I'm just moving on with next. I'm just clicking on next. You can see review and create. Now I'm just creating the crawler. In this crawler, I just specified the source, that is S3 bucket. And then I also provided the output location, that is in which database I want to store. This database just now I have created. Now I'm just creating the crawler. You can see a message at the top, that is crawler created successfully. That is the following crawler is now created. One crawler successfully created, right? Yes. Now I want to run this crawler. So that's why I'm clicking on run crawler. You can see starting crawler, attempting to start crawler. You can see the runs are now just initiated. So that's why crawler runs only one. So it is now running. It may take a few seconds to minutes. We need to wait. And after that, we can open our database. So in AWS Glue, we created a database, right? Yes. So in this database, actually the schema of table will be saved here. Currently 0 tables are there. After finishing running this crawler, after this crawler running finishes, your table will be created in this glue database. Since you specified that glue database as a destination, there only your your table will be created. Now this crawler is running. By using this crawler, what we are doing is we are just inferring the schema which is present in my source, that is S3 bucket. S3 bucket is nothing but our data lake. In the data lake, actually my client data is present. So the client data schema, that means columns data and what type of data it is holding, that I want to crawl, that I want to infer that schema, table schema. So that's why I created this crawler and inferring that schema and storing that schema at that particular destination location. Now you can see our crawler running was successful, completed. The status is completed. Now I'm opening my databases. I'm just reloading it. You can see in my glue databases, one table was created. In my glue database, one table was created. You can open this table. There you can able to see the schema, where the schema contains what are the columns you have. For those columns, what are the data type value that column will hold. So that data is available here, right? Yes, so that data is available here. Even you can able to see the data present in this table. By using this view data option, you can able to see the data present in this table. I'm just clicking on this view data so that it will redirect to my Athena. Oh, so I have already told you, to analyze the data present in this S3 bucket, you have to use the Athena queries, right? Yes. So that's why it is proceeding with Athena. Even you can see where this actually location is. So this actual location is, the data is actually present in S3 only, not in this glue table, not in this glue database table. Actual data present in S3 location only. But since we used a crawler, it infers the schema, that is, it creates the schema of the particular data present in S3 location. The actual data present in S3 location, but the schema was available here. So now you can able to analyze the data present in S3 by using this. So you can able to click on view data. So you just click on proceed, so that it opens you Athena dashboard. Now you have to observe one point. So what is that point is, so from where you are moved to this Athena, from where you are moved to this Athena, from this data catalog. So from this database, so this is the database that we just created, and this is the table that is just inferred now. So from this data, that is from glue, from AWS glue, you are moved to Athena. From glue, you are moved to Athena. So when you move to Athena, when you want to analyze the data present in the actual location, then you move to this Athena. So here you can see the data source is nothing but AWS data catalog only. So that is what this is. In this, you can see the database. In Glue, you can see the database. That database you are using here in Athena as well. And you can see the table. The table is present in this particular database. In this Glue database only, that table is present. So that table related schema only present in this glue, but actual data present in S3 bucket. So the schema is referred from here, and the data will be referred from where? S3 location. So how this glue is acting now? This glue is acting now as a centralized data store. So for your data management, it acts like a centralized metadata store. So that's why we call this glue as a centralized metadata store. So now we are using that glue data catalog database table to query the data. Now I'm running this query to see the data present in this table. So now I'm just running this query again. You can see it was completed. So now actually the data present in my table was visible here. So here you can see I have first name, last name, employee ID, title, company, social security, checking account, routing. So like this much more information is there here. But so if everybody accessing this, then it might causes me issue. That is a misuse issue. So in order to avoid that, I want to allow users to watch only few details. Like I want to provide the user related details. You can see there is a employee ID column that I want to restrict. So users cannot able to see that employee ID column. Users can able to see first name as well as the last name, but they don't I don't want to show them this employee ID column, and I don't want to show them checking account. That is, here you can say the checking account details are there. So this account data I don't want to show to my operations team users, and I also don't want to show this routing number, and I also don't want to show them the social security. So these details I don't want to show. I want to show only first name, last name, title, and company I want to show, and partition details I want to show. But these three, that is a social security, checking account, and a routing number, employee ID. These details I don't want to show to my users. So whenever a user log in with IAM credentials and he do this query, he can only get the data related to first name, last name, and title and company and partitions, but he does not able to get this data, that is these columns data: social security, checking, routing number, as well as employee ID. So how to do that? So to do that, you can able to do that by using AWS data lake. What is that? By using AWS lake formation. By using lake formation, you can able to do that. Now I'm just searching for lake formation. You can see that is visible here. Now I'm just opening that lake formation. So by using this lake formation, you can able to grant access to particular users to particular columns only. I'm just proceeding with my account only. Now you can see I'm opening what are the data catalog databases I have. You can see what are the data catalog database that we just previously created. So that is visible here. In glue right I have created, that is even visible here. Since that is a centralized metadata store, that is even visible here. So I'm opening this. For this I want to restrict the access, right? Yes. So under actions I have permissions. So under grant I have permission to grant to particular users. Before that, I want to open data lake permissions. In this data lake permissions, you can see few permissions, that is IAM allow. So if you allow this, then what happens is, so whichever IAM user having that particular IAM permission to access, they can able to access that whole data. First, I want to revoke them. I want to revoke that IAM permissions. I'm just revoking group related permissions right now. Now I want to revoke this group related permission as well. You can see I'm revoking these two. So now you can check here, no IAM permissions are there, right? Yes. So no IAM permissions are allowed. Now I want to grant the access to users to access only few columns, and managers to provide the full access. So how to grant that access? So to granting the access, you have two ways. You can grant directly from database by selecting the database. Under actions tab, under permissions, you have grant option is there, or else in data lake directly under permissions, you have an option that is a grant. Now I'm clicking. I'll show you both ways as well to grant the permissions. Now from here, that is from AWS lake formation under permissions under data lake permission. Now from here, let's provide grant access to particular user, that is operation users. So for particular operation users, I want to provide grant access to particular columns only. So now I'm clicking on this, that is a grant access. So from here you can able to create that grant access, or else from directly in database, in data catalog, in databases by selecting that. From here also you can able to grant the access. I'll show you both the ways. Now let's move on with this. Under permissions you have data lake permissions, right? So here I'm clicking on grant. So here I'm selecting the particular user. So here you can see multiple options are there: user groups and IAM roles and users as well. So if you want to provide access or grant access to particular user, then select the user, or else for roles you want to provide, then select the role. For group you want to provide, then select the group. Now I'm selecting the role, that is operations users. So operations team users. So that's what I selected. Now I want to manage the permissions by using this, that is a named data catalog resources. Here I'm selecting the database. So for which database we are providing the access to this particular user. Currently I'm providing securing a data lake database. That's what we created previously in our AWS Glue service. Since that data catalog visible here centrally in multiple services, we call that as centralized metadata. Centralized metadata. Those tables also visible in multiple services, like in Athena you are seeing, now in a lake formation you are seeing, and actually where you created those in AWS Glue data catalog, right? Yes. So there also you can able to see this database. So that's why we call this database or that Glue data catalog as a centralized metadata store. In certifications, they may ask you, so what is the best centralized metadata store to manage your database tables? So there you need to answer this. That is a data catalog. Now let's move on with our lab. And here I am selecting with the tables. I am moving on with the particular table. Here you can able to restrict the user to access to particular tables only as well. Now currently I do not have any filters. Now I want to create a new filter by providing some name. Filter 1, filter I want to provide just name like that. And here I want to exclude some fields, that is this operations team user, this particular IAM user that I have selected, that user is not able to access some columns. I want to exclude some columns. So that's why I'm clicking on this exclude columns option. In columns level access, I'm excluding some columns access. So what columns access that I want to exclude is that I want to select here. I don't want to provide my user personal data like checking account details, as well as employee ID, as well as routing number and social security. So these columns data I do not want to show to my operations user. So that's why what I am doing, I'm excluding those columns, right? Yes. So if you want to apply this row filter expression, so currently I'm providing a true as the answer. Now I'm just clicking on create filter. So this filter will create now. I want to select that filter. Since I provided filter name as a filter, now I just selected that filter. Previously for this lab, for testing, I have created that filter one. Now data filter permissions. You want grantable permissions to provide? Yes. So then you want selection option only, then select it. You want to describe and drop actions also, you want to provide, then select those as well. So currently data filter permissions I want to provide, that is a select option only I want to provide. And I'm just clicking on grant. So that what happens is that particular user, you can see the grant permission was successful. Currently 3 are showing here. If you reload it, then you can see the next one, that is a operations user, operations team users permissions as well. I'm just reloading it so that you can able to see whatever the user permissions that you provided. This OPS user is an IAM user. So for this user, I provided only particular catalog column related data, that database related, table related column access by applying some filter, by excluding some columns. So now let's say I want to verify that this user can able to access only some columns other than all columns. I want to verify that this user can able to access only some columns or not. So for that, I want to show you as a main user, as a root user, or as a administrative user. First I want to run the query to see what are the columns which are present in it. You can see these all columns. As a root user or administrative user, I can able to see those. But so this IAM user, that is a OPS user, he cannot able to access all those because I prevented him, right? Yes. So you can see this is the OPS user. I have logged in a new window, that is a new browser, to show you that which columns he can able to access. Now I'm just want to select the particular. Now actually I provided permission, right? Yes. So but why I'm getting this error? Yeah, you can see first you need to verify you are present in the same region or not. Actually my database is created at North Virginia region, so that's why I want to move towards this North Virginia region. Yes. So you can see that error was not visible now. So that error was eliminated. You can see my database source is visible here and my database is visible here. Data source is there. That is AWS data catalog that we created by using a glue crawler, and database that is created by using glue crawler. This data catalog we only created in a glue, and this table was actually created by using glue crawler. Now I want to preview the data. I want to view the data present in this table as a user, as a operations user. Now let's see what are the columns that it is showing to me. It was showing me first name, wow, last name, good, title, super, company, and partitions. So now you can observe whatever the columns, that is employee ID column, social security, checking account, routing number. So whatever the columns that we have excluded by providing a filter. So whatever the columns that we are excluded by providing this filter, while granting the permissions to that particular user, those all columns will be excluded, right? Yes. So you can clearly observe from this. I want to elongate it. Yeah. So you can see, you can observe it, clearly observe it. That is those all columns, whatever the columns that you excluded, those are not visible here. That means that this particular user cannot able to access those columns of data. That means we clearly restricted users from accessing particular columns present in my tables. where those tables are actually stored at where in my S3, right? Yes, in my data lake. So we achieved the task here. So whatever the data present in this S3 bucket, we are restricted the users to access all the columns present in that table by using what? By using grant access, grant permissions option present in lake formation. So for that, we previously created, so to infer the schema, we created a crawler and we run that crawler to create a data catalog, that is a data catalog tables. But database, to store the tables, where we store? In databases only, right? Yes, those database was created by us only. This table was created by the crawler by crawling the data present in this S3 bucket and infer the schema and store the schema in that table. So by using that database that we created in Glue, this lake formation can able to grant the access to only particular column or revoke the access or exclude the access to particular columns present in my S3 bucket tabled data to accessible to all users, right? Yes. So in this way, we can able to restrict the access to users, to our AWS users or IAM users or IAM groups or IAM roles to access particular columns, to access particular columns of my data present in this S3 bucket. So in this way, you can able to secure the data present in your data lake by using this lake formation. So now let's see how to grant the permission, grant all permission. That is to see all the data, we need to grant all the permission to directors or managers, right? Yes. So for that, I want to show you one option, that is from here, from permissions, how to grant, I have already shown you. From this data catalog in lake formation itself, from data catalog databases, I will show you how to grant access from here. I'm just selecting the particular database to which you want to grant access to particular users or groups or roles. Here under actions, you can see grant option is there. I'm selecting that. Here you have to select the particular principal. Currently my principal is user or role. That is, I want to provide access to operations. For operations director, I want to provide the permissions. That is, he need to access all the columns. So that I need to specify. Here I specified the database, I specified the table, and now I'm not applying any filters here. I want to provide select a permission. I want to provide select a permission. So that's why I provided this. So I'm just data permissions. All data access I have provided and I'm granting the access. You can see grant, I have clicked. You can see grant was successful. So under permissions, data lake permissions, you can see, so currently 4 is visible. I'm just reloading it so that the director's access also visible here. You can see OPS director. You can see OPS director. So for this particular user, so whatever the access, so all the data is included, no filter is added. So that's why that is visible here. So all are included. Yeah. So now I want to verify that by logging into that particular account. So I'm signing out this operations user account. I want to log in as a director account right now. You can see I have provided the account ID, IAM username and password. I'm just clicking on sign in. Now we are logging as operations director. So by using this operations director IAM account, we are logging. Since I provided all the columns access to this operations director. So let's verify that he can able to access all the data, all the columns of data present in that table by using Athena service. Now I'm just directly going with the Athena service. I'm just clicking on it. So here also you need to focus on which region you are. I want to be in North Virginia. You can see, yeah, we currently North Virginia is itself. Now I want to execute, yeah, try no SQL queries only. And you can see, yes. So we are opening, yeah. So the table is visible here. I'm running this. Yeah, that's already done. You can see all the data is visible here, right? Yes. So you can even run it again so that you can able to see all the data. Yeah, you can see all the data visible in it. So that is first name you can able to see, last name, that is employee ID you can able to see, title, company, security, checking account, routing number, partitions. So those all you can able to see. As a operations director, he can able to see all that data. But as a operations user, he cannot able to see all the data because we restricted, we secured the access directly from AWS Lake Formation. From this grant option, we provided only certain access to particular columns only in table, right? Yes. So in this way, in real time, you can able to provide access to users to your data lake. If you are maintaining data lake and you want to provide access to your users to particular columns only, you want to exclude some columns, grant access, then you can able to use this lake formation to exclude particular columns related grant access. So in this way, you can able to use a lake formation to provide or exclude some columns related grant access as well. So I hope you understood this video and you got a knowledge on lake formation related hands-on and focusing on data, that is securing a data lake you understood by using a lake formation. I hope this video is useful. If you feel this video is useful, then please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys.